But one of his other bigger concepts is that in life, in our human game, there is basically two phases. And in the first phase, we spend all this time trying to convince ourselves and successfully convincing ourselves that we are not the infinitely powerful and abundant being that we truly are. So we spend the first half of our lives keeping ourselves away from that truth and trying to do everything in our power to convince ourselves otherwise. And then when you reach a point of basically feeling like you're so unfulfilled, like maybe you have everything you could ever want on paper and it's not fulfilling. And you're like, what else is there? Like, is there more? And a lot of us find ourselves in places like that at different stages in our lives, whatever your life looks like. But you might find yourself in that place of wondering, like, there has to be more. There has to be more than this. And that's what he calls phase 2, which is where you let your expanded self lead you on this treasure hunt, Easter egg hunt of finding all the places where you stashed your power. And he calls them eggs, like Easter eggs, basically. And then it's this process of what I have equated with shadow work, because it's going back and revisiting, and you don't have to go searching for them. Your soul will lead you, like your expanded self will lead you to these Easter eggs in your life where you stashed your power. Because in the first half of your life, like for example, with money, like maybe you've been telling yourself, you know, I can't afford this, or I don't have enough money to do this thing, or whatever it is. You've basically just been like placing this limitation on yourself and convincing yourself. And he says to like congratulate yourself for how convincing you were of like good, like, can you believe that you created an illusion so convincing that you made yourself an infinitely powerful being believe that you weren't that infinitely powerful being? Like, that's wild. Good job. Congratulations. Like that's the curiosity that sparked the human game, basically, is what would happen if I, God, this infinitely powerful being, separated myself from my power? What would happen? And like, here we are living that question, finding out. Like, this is, so basically, like I've equated his Easter egg hunting process with shadow work. And he says that like we go around, we spend this second phase of our lives reclaiming our power from these like Easter eggs. And he has like, he calls it the process in the book. He says, so, okay, so you're going through life and a situation arises that makes you feel discomfort. Anything. It could be like you get a bill and you see money on, like, I owe this amount of money, and you go like, ooh, I don't, like, that's a lot of money. That's going to leave a dent. Or like whatever it is, somebody says something to you, makes you feel bad about yourself. You feel uncomfortable. Anything like that, he says, is an opportunity to reclaim your power. Because in order to have created that in your hologram and your illusion, you had to apply some of your infinite energy, your infinite power to that to make it real. And by reclaiming your power from it, you're like undoing the structure and you're taking it back. So, so he says, when situations of discomfort arise, to like, number one, dive into it. Don't try and push it aside, but just dive head first right into the middle. And then tell yourself, I am the power and presence of God creating this. So like whatever resonates most with you. I think he gave a few different examples, and this is the one that he used that I liked, like, I am the power and presence of God. But you can say whatever makes you feel powerful and remind you that like you are God and there's nothing that goes bigger than that. Then say, it's not real. It's completely made up. It's a creation of my consciousness, and I reclaim my power from this creation now. So you assert, you affirm that I am reclaiming my power from this creation. Important to note, it's this creation that I created, which is why I am able to reclaim my power from it. It's because I did this. And so he says, as I reclaim the power, I feel it coming back to me. And then pause and feel it. Like, this is the biggest point, is to like really make yourself feel it. Like, feel the power coming back to you. I feel it surging through me. Pause to feel the surge. Like, feel it. And it says, as I feel it surging through me, I feel myself expanding even more into who I really am, expressing even more of who I really am, the power and presence of God. And it says to feel yourself opening up into what he calls the infinite energy, which is yours and it's you. Replay the scene of whatever brought discomfort and take any leftover arising discomfort and dissolve it into the infinite energy and repeat that until the discomfort has dissipated. And then he says to bask in the infinite energy. Once it's like the discomfort's gone and you're just left with that feeling of like infinity, to just kind of like bask in that for a minute, just kind of bathe in that, sit in that. And it says to appreciate how amazing of a creator you are, appreciate the creation, even if you have judged it in your world as being negative, and appreciate the value that you've received from it. Because the value, he says, with any situation that brings discomfort, it has great value because it gives you the opportunity to reclaim your power. And there's like nothing more valuable than that. And so that's kind of his main point. And you can see how applying that to money related situations where every time, like maybe time to pay rent and you like get the bill and you're looking at it and it brings up these feelings of discomfort, you get to remind yourself that I created this limitation to separate me from my infinite power. And like, wow, it was so convincing. Good job. Like I did that. I convinced myself that I was not an infinitely powerful being by creating this limitation that isn't real. It's not real.